Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Joining me right here today is Pascal Dennis. Pascal, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm down in the Caribbean with my family, Kayden, so all is good.
Oh, you're so lucky. How's the weather there right now?
It's 85 degrees, gentle breeze blowing in off the Caribbean. This is the view from our favorite bar behind me.
Well, I know you put on that virtual background, so I don't think they can see it.
Well, if you could, it would be beautiful.
There you go. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you and how you got started in music?
I made a record a long time ago with a fantastic producer about 27 years ago. And the record went nowhere because I wasn't very good. David Logan was great. I kept writing and playing and getting better and better, but I wasn't really good enough in my view. I finished an engineering degree and I went around the world helping people improve companies. And during the pandemic, I had time suddenly to fully dedicate myself to music. And so I reconnected with Dave Logan, who was now teaching in one of Europe's best music schools, and we put a band together. And having that concentrated time, starting 3 years ago, allowed me and David to collaborate again. And you know the the band we put together is just extraordinarily good, and my songs have gotten better and the playing's gotten better. So yeah, it's been a long journey, and it's every day a little bit better, every day a little bit better. And then suddenly there was a big jump in ability.
Well, that's wonderful. What is it about music that you absolutely love about it, Pascal?
Well, I love playing with creative young musicians, and our band comprises the best young players that go to David's music school. So fantastic guitar players and sax players and piano players, and they can play anything that I write. My favorite genre is classic country, and they just absorb it and they make it unique. They may not know, Hank Williams or Merle Haggard or George Jones, because it's before their time, but they sense the feeling that I'm trying to convey. So working with those young people is just such a pleasure and a joy.
So I know you have a lot going on and a lot of new releases. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, our plan is to release a new record every year, basically until we drop dead. So we released one in 2021, 2022, and this year, right on schedule, we're releasing Shame on the Sun, which, like all our records, has 16 songs. About half of them are classic country, which is what I grew up with and which is my favorite genre. But we've also got R&B and bossa nova and jazz. Yeah, and we're working on our fifth album, actually, fourth and fifth albums as we speak. So we're really productive, and we got a fantastic chemistry and teamwork. And yeah, so April the 14th, Shame on the Sun will be released. We have a number of singles that are coming out as well. The latest one is called Iggy, Spike, and Lester, My Interstellar Band.
That's wonderful. And it will be going out to radio with me, yay, on the 10th. So we're super excited to get that out. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
it's my pleasure. So, what advice would you give somebody that might want to start doing music, Pascal?
So, based on my experience and based on just the trends in the last 10 years, it's clear that it's very difficult to make a living in music. So you have to have a skill, a profession, a trade that gives you some amount of financial independence. So for me, I was lucky enough to become an engineer, and that allowed me to have a band and have a family and to still make time for writing. And then when I suddenly got the chance to really invest full time when our kids grew up and went to school, I was able to take all that I'd learned and take it to the next level. So um, the fact is that the tech companies take most of the value now, And I'm on the side of the brilliant young musicians all over the world that are making music, but they're not getting the value. And that's just the fact. So I'm on your side. Please find something that'll support you. Be a carpenter, be an engineer, be a teacher, whatever you can, and keep your passion for music alive. But don't depend on it to make a living, because it's until the economics change, it's just really hard. And I don't want to see people suffer while the tech companies prosper. I know that's a hard message, but there it is.
You know, that message, I think you did a really good job conveying that. Not many people look at it that way when I ask them that question. They don't look at it and they're like, oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, they mention it, but they don't really say it the way that you did. So great job there.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can do it. I mean, I've done it, and I know other people that have done it, and you keep your integrity that way. So our band doesn't compromise. You know, we can do 16 songs and we're not going to compromise. If it's a 5-minute song, it's a 5-minute song. And we respect our audience. So we're going to give the absolute best we can and not worry about anything extraneous. And being an engineer gave me that freedom. And I quit school when I was a young fellow, and I did what everybody does and played for a couple of years and with bands and bars. And I realized it's a very hard life. And back then it was easier. Now the tech companies take all the value. So it is what it is.
Exactly. So where do you see yourself in the next couple of years, or where do you want to be?
Uh, our aspiration as a band is to make the best possible music we can. Our goal is one record, 16 songs a year, plus any additional singles for the next 10 years. So in 10 years, I want to have 10 more records, and I want recognition for the band and for the songs. I want people to say, they write fantastic songs, they play fantastic songs, they respect the rich tradition of country and folk music, and they're gonna, they're taking the baton from the greats, from Willie Nelson and George Jones and Merle Haggard and Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline, all my heroes, and taking that and honoring that tradition. So that's our vision for the band.
If someone was to write a song about you or someone in the band, what do you think that they take the time to write about?
I would say they never give up, they have fun, they kick ass, and they take names. That's a long title.
Maybe we could shorten that down just a little bit.
How about kick ass and take names? How about that?
Yeah, that could be a very interesting song. Maybe you should write one about
I'm making a note, Kayden.
So what do you like doing outside of music? Do you have any hobbies, interests, anything like that?
Yeah, our youngest Matthew is 17, and he and I love boxing. So we do boxing together. Believe it or not, I box with my 17-year-old son, and I barely escape with my life, but that's something we like to do. We also love baseball, so Matthew and I take an annual baseball trip, and our favorite stadiums: Boston, New York, Chicago, etc. And I spend a lot of time with my family. I'm devoted to my family. Our band, by the way, is a family affair. So all 5 of us have a role. My wife is a fantastic photographer and videographer. Our daughter Katie is a wonderful social media and marketing manager. That's her profession, actually, etc. So those are probably my go-to activities away from the band.
That's interesting, and I could tell that you and Katie had a lot going on, talking about the other side of the business, and it's really interesting to see, like, everybody's position, especially in a band like that. So I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I couldn't do what I do without my dear wife Pamela and the rest of the family, and not to mention Dave Logan, who is a genius of a producer, and our band members. Yeah, as I say, they're just the best young musicians that I can dream of having.
If people want to learn more about you, where can they find you?
Well, our website is www.Pascal Dennis, just my name, pascaldennismusic.com. So pascaldennismusic.com. We have a strong presence on Spotify, especially, and all the other online channels. We're also greatly expanding on Bandcamp. I like Bandcamp especially because it's clear that the president and the people around him love music and are dedicated to helping musicians, which is not true of all the big tech companies. So yeah, pascaldennismusic.com, Spotify, Bandcamp are a good start.
If you could give anybody one message right now, what would you tell the world?
I would say know who you are, what you believe in, live according to those values, don't compromise, stay with it, never give up, be gentle, be kind, be merciful to people. Obviously, America is having a very difficult moment now, and people are fragmented, and there isn't a lot of mercy or kindness or good humor. So that would be my message to everybody.
And is there anything that I forgot to mention that you would like to mention today, Pascal?
Um, well, I think our latest single is called Iggy, Spike, and Lester, My Interstellar Band. And if I may, I'll just briefly tell the story behind that band. Our
Sure.
band has had a standing joke. How do you do it, Pascal? You got a family and you keep writing all these songs, and we're doing all this recording and releasing all this music. How do you do it? And the standard joke was, I depend on aliens. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. So then we took this to its logical next step. So we gave the aliens a name. So Iggy, Spike, and Lester are the name of our interstellar band. So this song is about the secret of my success and our process as a band. It's a very funny song, and the boys are fantastic in it. I really encourage people to listen to it.
Pascal Dennis, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We definitely appreciate it so much. So thank you.
Thank you so much for all you do, Kayden. Take care.